grown leaps and bounds while at Parkway North High School. Dr. Rhonda Page and Artandria Bentley have been instrumental in creating an exceptional and cohesive team. They've fostered a complete atmosphere of meaningful inclusion and are appropriately focused on post-secondary goals. They've embraced CADE's amazing paraprofessional, Mr. Young, who's been with CADE since he's been in 5th grade. He has been able to provide historical perspectives on successful strategies and is an active problem solver with the team. Mr. Matchner, next in line, CADE's case manager, is an excellent communicator. He has strongly encouraged CADE to be present at all of his monthly meetings, and he expects CADE to be engaged in part of the decision-making processes for those meetings. By these actions, he's teaching CADE how to advocate for himself in all future endeavors. He is spot on as a case manager, and we couldn't be more pleased. I mean, he is spot on with everything. Paperwork, you name it, he is spot on. He's great. Mrs. Sarinsky and Mrs. Whitehouse is here, Mrs. Sarinsky couldn't be here, have been instrumental in recognizing CADE's talents and trying to meet him where he is at. ELA is a challenging subject to keep PG rated in high school, and Miss Sarinsky and Mrs. Whitehouse have worked hard to be mindful of our wishes to not expose CADE to too much too soon, or in other words, they are keeping it PG for him, and we are so appreciative of that. Mr. Snow, last in line here, has just absolutely embraced CADE and his learning. CADE wants to name our potential new dog Snowy. And he also wants to run track next year because of Mr. Snow, and Mr. Snow is a track coach at North. So needless to say, you've made an impression on our son. A shout out to Coach Parks and Coach Prosser. These guys rock too. CADE fully participated on the JV golf team this year. I don't know if y'all know that. They fully embraced his skills and accepted him exactly where he was at, which is a pretty good golfer, so we were excited. They wanted him to succeed and to have fun, and he just absolutely loved it, so it was awesome. It's our goal and our wish that these meaningful inclusion experiences not stop at CADE, that their experiences with CADE be paid forward to other students at Parkway North and within the district. We love that this whole team has been willing to think outside of the box. They genuinely want to make a difference for all students. We feel blessed and proud to be able to say that Team CADE has embraced and honored him as a learning student. The educators see CADE for his abilities and his strengths. They do not operate around his disability, and they are not limiting him, and we really thank you for that. We have appreciated each and every conversation and question. It makes us all better at what we do for all students. We can't wait to see what next year brings. It's exciting. And I know CADE has also asked to say a little bit, and so he just is going to take a minute or so to share what he'd like to share too. So thank you. It's good.
Okay. Hi guys. My name is CADE. I want to thank my teachers for helping me to learn at school. I do love school as always. And my favorite classes are PE, Bio, Post-Art, and also an academic lab. They are my favorite classes because I have my friends in these classes, and then I learn best when I am with my awesome friends. Also, thanks for telling me I am a good role model. It makes me feel good. Hey, Margaret, can I give them the awards now?
You can. Not Mom, Margaret. Good. All right, now.
Our ninth grade principal from our freshman goes to Dr. Page. Congratulations. Yeah. Tessa, thanks for saying hi to me every day. It makes me happy. I like helping you in the office, as always. Yeah.
All right. Okay, that's a, Mrs. Bentley. That's good.
Okay, so our area coordinator goes to Mrs. Bentley. I like that you help everyone at school. You are really nice. Congratulations. Okay. Thank you. My case manager, Mr. Masno. Thanks for doing my IEP the right way. It is going great. Congratulations, Ms. Masno.
Go ahead. Mr. Snow, go ahead.
Mrs. Snow? Okay. Okay, so could I have Mr. Snowy? Congratulations. Yeah. Mr. Snow, I think you are a cool cat. So thanks for doing bio with me.
One last.
And our last one is going to Mrs. White House. I Miss White House. You are a maniac. And I think you're great.
The maniac is a kind of an inside joke at school, so she knows what it's all about, but thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. All right.
If the team from Belle Reef could come up.
It doesn't want to stay up there. Okay. Hi, I'm Cassie Jennings. And before I begin, I just want to say that while I'm going to call out some specific people by name, I think everyone on the team would tell you that they couldn't do it without any of the other members of the team. So can't call everyone out by name, unfortunately, but there's some other people here who are awesome as well. When we moved from Philadelphia to St. Louis in the fall of 2014, one of our biggest concerns was how our two sons would adapt to the change. St. Louis was home for us, but they had only ever been here to visit. We were especially concerned about Ian, who was 6 at the time. Ian had been diagnosed with autism at age 2.5. Throughout his school career, he had a history of being moved from more inclusive to more restrictive placements. By the time we left Pennsylvania, he was in a private school for children with autism. It was a wonderful school and they did great things for him, but he had no opportunity to interact with his typical peers on a daily basis. When we were preparing to move, we felt that it was most likely that Ian would go to a special school district school. And we were perfectly fine with that. In fact, we were a bit surprised and concerned when the team recommended placement in an ABA classroom at Belle Reve. We knew that the ABA would be what Ian needed, but were uncertain about placing him in a district school, as that had not gone well in his kindergarten in Pennsylvania. The team did see some difficult behaviors from Ian, falling on the floor, eloping, pushing other students, and tearing up his art projects. Since most of the behaviors occurred during the times that Ian was with his typical peers, we began to feel that it was time to switch to an SSD building. The team respectfully disagreed. They didn't want to give up on having Ian in their building. With the help of Beth Golden, a behavior plan was put in place to help curb these behaviors. And when we mentioned how great the adaptive PE, art, and music classes at Litzinger would have been for Ian, Dr. DeBosch let us know that she was looking at the building schedule for the 2015-16 school year to see if it would be possible to include adaptive art, music, and PE on a rotating schedule similar to the rotation that was already in place with the regular specials. That was in the spring of 2015. Starting in the fall of 2015, Belle Reve came through with the adaptive art, music, and PE classes, which Ian and his ABA classmates attend in addition to the time that he spends in specials with his second grade class. We have seen so much improvement and are so happy to have Ian at Belle Reve. This year, he has also begun to spend more time with his second grade class. Instead of just going to Mrs. Gardner's room to check in, he also occasionally spends time greeting his classmates and participating in their morning meeting. This sounds like a small thing, but there was a time when we would not have believed it to be possible. And of course, all of this is in addition to the general day-to-day awesomeness of the team. It is so clear that Annie, Beth, Sheila, and Jamie, and all of the staff at Belle Reve care as deeply about Ian's education as we do and want what is best for him. They communicate with us on a regular basis, value our input as parents, and work together every day to make sure that Ian's needs are met in as inclusive an environment as possible. Ian's not here because his bedtime is 8 o'clock. So, thank you all for everything. Right, Sheila Gardner, Jamie DeBosch, Annie Twillman, and Beth Golden.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. What a great thing to see that with some of these kids that otherwise may not have a good experience. We're glad to have them all with us. Next, I think, is Mimi Holder, President of our Parkway Alumni Association.
Yeah, you guys can sit down. All right, good. Good evening, President Jacobs, members of the school board, Dr. Marty, and Mrs. Peasold. The Parkway Alumni Association has had another great year serving and supporting the Parkway community. I'm proud to be here today to share a few updates and upcoming opportunities. At Appreciation Night, we had the opportunity to hand out and sponsor the Teacher of the Year Awards and the Albert Awards. Just yesterday on Give STL Day, people throughout the country made donations in honor of their Parkway teachers. And even though the site closed and crashed early, we still received some great donations. In addition, just this past Monday, here at Central Middle, the Alumni Association hosted the 20th annual Granting Dreams ceremony with over 500 dedicated educators, parents, grandparents, and siblings in attendance. This year, the Alumni Association granted 215 student grants, allowing these students to realize their dreams. And I'm proud to report that including this year's class of recipients, the Alumni Association has awarded over 3,200 grants, totaling over $283,000 since the beginning of the program in 1996. And we hope to continue the program for many more years to come. The Parkway Alumni Association is looking forward to several future opportunities to connect with the Parkway community and certainly hope that you all can join in. On May 26th, we'll celebrate the legacy of John Baker at the jazz concert at the Sky Music Lounge. On June 17th, we'll have our 21st annual Parkway Golf Tournament at Bear Creek Golf Course. And October 2nd, the Alumni Association will host Parkway Day at the ballpark with around 1,000 Parkway people cheering on the Cardinals and our Teacher of the Year, Sasha Walkley, who'll be throwing out the first pitch. And lastly, we're still currently reviewing many outstanding Hall of Fame applications for the Hall of Fame induction ceremony for November 19th. A special thank you to the board, to the administration, and all of the faculty and staff for all you do in helping to promote the Alumni Association and their programs each year. Thank you.
Next, we want to recognize the winners of the Martin Luther King Jr. Essay Poster Contest. Would you please join me in welcoming our Parkway ADA President, Pat McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. Jacobs, board members, Dr. Marty, Ms. Peisold. It's my pleasure to present to you the 2016 winners of the Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Poster Essay Contest. This is a contest that is run every year through Missouri NEA, and the theme this year was The Dream Continues. And I have to say, this is the first time I've ever had an opportunity to judge these, and I'm a high school teacher by trade, so I just have to say I was blown away by the creativity, the thoughtfulness in terms of the posters and the essays and the way they're put together. A real tribute to these kids, to their teachers, and to their parents. It was really impressive and far beyond anything I could ever do. So I'm going to go through and read the winners to you, and then talk a little bit also about the fact that we also did very well at the state level, and say a few things about that. So, from the kindergarten first grade level, Allie Henry, Shenandoah Valley, first place. All right. In a tie for second place, Lillian Wells from Henry Elementary. There she is. Also second place, Ashley Alt, also from Henry Elementary. And there she is. And rounding out the Henry list here, Sanvi Banerjee, Henry, third place. All right, moving on to second and third grade. Landon Chen, Mason Ridge, first place, and also a state place holder. In second place, Jenny Crawford, Wren Hollow. Jenny's not here with us this evening. In a tie for second place, Sarah Jones, Shenandoah Valley. She also is not with us today. In second place, a tie, Mia Carey, Shenandoah Valley, and Mia is here. And rounding out our second and third grade winners, Jamil Lee of Shenandoah Valley. And I should point out that Jamil and Ginny both also placed at the state level. Fourth and fifth grade, Ronak Mohanty from Shenandoah Valley, also a state place winner. In second place, Campbell Morawski from Mason Ridge. Also second place tie, Emma Lee from Shenandoah Valley, and she also is a state finisher. All right. Third place winner, Hannah Ahn from Craig Elementary. And also in a tie for third, Sonali Paranjyothi, also from Shenandoah Valley, and a state winner. And we had one winner in the 6th through 8th grade level. That was Sintu Kalabavi from West Middle, who was first place in Parkway and first place at state. So, tribute to those teachers.
Please welcome Dr. Denise Farnella, Coordinator of Gifted and Grants. She will introduce students selected in 2016 Missouri Scholars Academy and the Missouri Scholars 100.
President Jacobs, ladies and gentlemen of the board, Mrs. Piesold, and Dr. Marty, good evening. I am so pleased to be here this evening to present to you two very accomplished groups of students. The first group is 7 very distinguished and impressive Parkway High School students. These students were chosen from a pool of literally thousands across Missouri to participate in the exclusive Missouri Scholars Academy. The Academy is a 3-week residential program held on the campus of the University of Missouri in Columbia. This program provides a unique educational experience for only approximately 300 of our state's finest young scholars. The application process for participating was rigorous and involved not only academic achievement, but leadership capacity and creative problem solving. Some of the characteristics the Academy looks for in their selection process are intellectual curiosity, students with a broad range of interests, students with the ability to think analytically and conceptually, students who are self-starters and independent, students of social maturity, students who are honest and considerate or caring of others, students with the ability to express him or herself orally in writing or in the arts, and finally, students who possess a sense of humor. As I say your name, if you could please come forward. From Central High School, John Kim. Also from Central High School, Jonathan Yin. From South High, Melissa Banky. From North High, Sarah Butterfield. I don't think Sarah was able to make it tonight. Also from North High, Saili Kambakar. Congratulations. From West High, Haran Kumar. Also from West High, Alex Zhao. Okay, if you guys could stay up there as well. I'd also like to present to you Parkway's Missouri Scholars 100 students. The Missouri Scholars 100 is a program sponsored by the Missouri Association of Secondary School Principals and is a statewide recognition obtained by only 100 students all across Missouri. Each student nominated had to first meet criteria of an academic decathlon, which included 10 events designated to assure the academic strength of the student. To meet the decathlon requirements, the student must have a minimum GPA of 3.75, a minimum ACT score of 29, be ranked in the upper 10% of the class, and have taken upper-level courses in mathematics, science, English, and modern classical language. The student must also have excellent attendance, be an exemplary school citizen, and be involved in the school activity program. Parkway is pleased to introduce the following 4 students who have achieved the remarkable Missouri Scholars 100 status. As I say your name, if you could please come forward. From Central High, Sharanyai Kumar. Also from Central High, Joshua Yang. From West High, Crystal Luo. Also from West High, Rachel Osborne. Rachel must not be here. These 2 groups of students are undoubtedly among the finest leaders from Parkway School District, and I'd like to send them off with the following words of wisdom from Peter Drucker. Leadership is lifting a person's vision to higher heights, the raising of a person's performance to a higher standard, the building of a personality beyond its normal limitations. I hope that your experiences in Parkway and this amazing opportunity to be a part of either the Missouri Scholars 100 or the Missouri Scholars Academy helps each of you as you strive to develop your leadership potential and soar beyond your normal limitations. Thank you for proudly representing Parkway School District. And could I now have the principals please stand, and parents also please stand, because we know that these students would not be here tonight without your support at home and at school. Congratulations to all of these stellar young men and women.
Well, thank you to these wonderful, outstanding students, all the way from kindergarten up to high school. It's just marvelous to see the things that they're willing and able to do. We thank them very much. We thank their families, teachers, your principals for joining us here tonight. Additions, corrections, and modifications to the agenda. 6.01, additions to the agenda, item 11.05, approval of personnel items, and agenda item 11.13, authorization for disposal of surplus property. Modification to agenda item 11.23, approval of renewal of Discovery Science for all elementary schools. 7.0, citizen statements. We have a few here. If you'll come to the podium and say your name and address so we can be sure that we get a response back to you, we would appreciate that. You'll have 3 minutes to make your comments. And let's begin with Stephen Rutherford.
Good evening. My name is Stephen Rutherford. I live at 1929 Pine Run Drive, Chesterfield, Missouri. I have 2 children at Central High, 2 at Central Middle, and 1 left at Highcroft Ridge Elementary. As some of you know, my family has hosted YFU students for 11 years now. Every year, a student from a different country. And we are here tonight to thank the board, the administration, and in our case, Central's principal, Tim McCarthy, for continuing to allow us to enroll YFU students at Parkway. My only wish is that more Parkway families would consider hosting. Yeah, this year, just in Germany alone, there were about 20 kids whose dream was to be exchange students but could not come because there simply are not enough families. My family, our greatest gift that we've given our students, or our children, is hosting. Our children now have brothers all over the world. Even though the students come to live with us for just 1 year, they remain a member of our family forever. Tonight with me is my German son, Ola, and 2 other YFU students, Andreas and Lars from Denmark. I've gotten to know Andreas and Lars as well this past year, and I can tell you that all 3 young men are outstanding ambassadors for their countries, and all have certainly done their part to further YFU's mission of fostering peace through understanding. It's my hope that all of us here tonight and across Parkway will consider hosting, and together we can all help make our community, our schools, and the world a more peaceful place. Thank you.
Old Bear.
Hi, I'm staying with Stephen Rutherford, 1929 Pine Run Drive. And to be honest, before I came and I got my information about where I'm placed and about my host family, and I told myself, Ola, you're happy with everywhere you go. You're okay with the West Coast, you're okay with the East Coast, you're just not in the middle. Like when I opened my letter and I looked up, I saw St. Louis, never heard of that before, and Missouri, not either. And then I looked it up on Google Maps and I found out it's right in the middle. And then, but now like I think I'm here since 9 months and I really can't imagine being somewhere else. And yeah, my favorite class is math with Mr. Holman, and I've never seen a math teacher who's more happy to teach his class than he is. Before class, he asked, like when everybody's in the classroom, he asked for permission if he can start earlier because he's so excited to start class. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to Parkway, or to you for allowing Parkway Central students to attend at Parkway Central. Thank you.
Thank you. Andreas Larson.
My name is Andreas Larson. I live in 14358 Markham Lane. I'm a Parkway Central student, and I'm a YFU student from Denmark. I'm really happy to go to Parkway Central, and I'm really pleased that you guys are allowing students all around the world to go to Parkway Central. It's a nice experience to be able to learn about the American culture and go to high school at Parkway, and to make new friends, and also to talk to Americans about my own culture. One of the biggest surprises I had was the school spirit. because there's way more school spirit over here than I'm used to. All the kids are proud of their school. They show up to all the football games, basketball games, so on, and they show their school spirit and cheer for their teams. I myself went to 2 football games at home, and it was amazing. Also, one of the things that makes Parkway an amazing place is the learning environment, and also the classes. First semester, I took a class called History of St. Louis. I never think I've learned as much in any class than that class. And also my teacher, Mr. Sellers, who also became my favorite teacher. Because of him, I took 2 other classes with him this semester, Government and Crime and Law. And from September to March, I was a part of the Parkway Central speech and debate team. It's an amazing experience, but also hard work to research cases, research topics, write cases, and also present in front of people. But with the help from my coach, Mr. Prophet, I became way better at debating and also presenting in front of people. And that's good because I want to become a politician or a lawyer one day. And with his help, I got a 4th place at a Ladue tournament and a 2nd place at a Parkway North tournament. And also, thank you. And last, I would like to thank you all again for allowing students from all around the world to go to Parkway School. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Andreas. My mother's from Denmark, and I happened to be in Denmark last year at the time when the students were graduating. Talk about school spirit. They drive around in these trucks, and they're screaming, and there's music blasting, and it was quite an experience. I saw some Denmark school spirit that was very unique. We were glad to have you here. And I'm not sure that I've got this right. Lavrita? Lawrence. Yes. And how did you say your last name? Sol?
So, yeah. Okay. My name is Lawrence So. I live in Chesterfield, Cross Trails 14193. And I'm here to thank Parkway Central High School for allowing exchange students every year. And also thank all the teachers and students for making me and my 2 other exchange student friends over there having such a great time here. Since day 1, Parkway Central I feel like more than just a school, feel like a home, and that's because of the teachers and the students. All help each other and take care of each other. And that's why I would like to say thank you to all the teachers. Makes Parkway Central such a great place. Thank you.
Which country did you come from?
I'm from Denmark, sorry.
Oh, wonderful. And Joe Stemler.
Parkway board members, I thank you for the opportunity to say a few words. My name is Joe Stemler, 1841 Chelmsford Court. I'm the father of sons in Parkway Preschool, Northeast Middle, and North High. I recognize that each of you has a challenging task and that you have accomplished many things for students in the district. However, you've also missed a chance to make a substantial improvement to the Sex and Healthy Relationships curriculum. From December 2014 onward, I participated in the advisory council work and raised my ideas for improvement that the final curriculum did not include. The curriculum could have included the need to accept all human beings with respect, compassion, and sensitivity. It could have protected the innocence of our youngest children, thus countering the sexualization of youth that is being put upon them by our media-saturated culture. It could have taught the amazing biological processes that work in concert to bring a new human being. It could have taught how embryo and fetus are stages of human development, just as are toddler and teenager. It could have taught that infertility and reduced fertility are challenges for many couples. It could have taught that miscarriage can be a difficult and painful reality for parents. It could have taught about the process of childbirth. It could have taught about the effects of breastfeeding on the mother and the child. It could have taught that sexual intimacy should always be free of coercion. It could have taught that pornography, like drugs, is addictive and damaging. It could have taught that divorce is a grave event that has negative effects not only on the couple, but on the children who have a human right to know and be raised by the parents when possible. The curriculum does not teach these, and that is a loss for all the students in Parkway. I will continue to teach my sons these things at home. There I will also be able to teach them values I hold, such as the duty of every man is to protect the dignity of every woman. I ask that the agents of the district do not teach them otherwise. Thank you.
Thank you. 8.0, approval of agenda. May I ask for a motion and a second to approve the agenda for the regular meeting of the Board of Education scheduled for May 4th, 2016?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries 6-0. Resolutions, there are none. 10.0 communications. 10.01 introduction of new administrators. I'd like to call on Jennifer Stanfield, our Director of Choice Programs, who will introduce Fern Ridge leader to us.
Yes. Good evening, President Jacob, members of the board, Dr. Marty, and Ms. Piesold. It is my honor and privilege to stand before you tonight and introduce you to Michael Macklin, who will be joining the Parkway community as coordinator of Fern Ridge and Missouri Options. I had the privilege of spending a lot of time with Mr. Macklin throughout the interview process. And during that time, I have been ultimately impressed by his achievements. He comes to us most recently from University City, where he has served as the principal of University City High School since 2012. Prior to that, he served Maplewood Richmond Heights as a counselor, assistant principal, and also served as a teacher here in Parkway, and is a Parkway Central grad. So we're very excited to welcome him home. In 2015, he earned the Educator of the Year award, and he has had many successes at both of his previous districts in showing and being part of leading gains. When I reviewed the candidate feedback sheets that all of the folks and stakeholders, write as they interview and listen to our candidates speak, there were many, many trends, and what I saw a lot was passion, enthusiasm, commitment, vision, experience, and high expectations for all. One of the quotes that I heard from a student was, "You need to hire him now." We are just super thrilled to have him joining our team. Thank you.
Thank you. I am extremely excited to be here. I'm extremely excited to serve the students of Parkway School District and to serve Fern Ridge. Thank you very much.
Next, I'm going to call up Jenny Profit.
Good evening. It's my pleasure tonight to introduce you to Stephanie Valley, who will be the new middle school STEM coordinator. Yay. I had the privilege of being on the interview committee, and then Courtney Yeager and I took Stephanie out to a couple schools, and we got to see her interact with kids and teachers, and it was a great experience. So, Stephanie comes to us from the Rittner School District, where she has served as the instructional facilitator and curriculum coordinator. Her major responsibilities have been developing and implementing K-12 Project Lead the Way. She's also served as a Project Lead the Way district delegate. She's coordinated and administrated the 3rd through 8th grade spring break camp in the Rittner District. She's organized and directed curriculum development in science, social studies, math, reading, and writing for grades pre-K through 12. She's collaborated and consulted with teachers and administrators for direct support and has provided professional development and training for teachers and administrators. We are very excited to have her join the TLA team.
Thank you. I am absolutely thrilled that I've been selected for this position. I've spent the last 6 years really, you can hear from what she listed, a bunch of different places, and to really have a focus of STEM education, it is what I am most passionate about, and to have the opportunity to serve the middle school students here in Parkway, it's truly an honor. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
Well, to both Stephanie and Michael, we welcome you to Parkway, and I know as a board we look forward to the things that you'll do in Parkway, the students that will be impacted by you, and we're just glad to have you on the team. Thank you very much.
Mr. Jacob, I'd like to tell the board that I had a chance to be involved in both processes a bit, and there were some fine candidates. So these two individuals have survived a pretty thorough process with a lot of competition. There were some really worthy candidates, both internally and externally, and we're very, very proud to have them join us.
Thank you, Dr. Marty. Next, we'll look at our calendar of meetings. The next regular board meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, June 8th, 2016 at 7 p.m. here at Central Middle School, with an anticipated closed session at 6 p.m. And there will be a board retreat on June 3rd and 4th. Don't be fooled by the word retreat. It's a lot of work, and we don't go very far away either.
Down the road.
10.03, board liaison reports. Does anyone have any board liaison reports they'd like to make? Yes, Debbie.
Well, it was a very busy month of April for attending a lot of different events, but the one that I'll report on that I was the representative from Parkway was with the Special School District Banquet. It's their end-of-the-year banquet to award students within the, who are receiving services from the special school district, to award them with a variety of different grants, scholarships, and recognitions for their hard work and the participation with Parkway as well. So I sat with several families within Parkway who were receiving awards that evening, and it was a very heartwarming event. Steve Stenger was there. A lot of superintendents and other school districts from around the St. Louis County area were there as well, supporting their schools and their students that are in the special school district. So I was very moved and very honored to represent Parkway at that event. We also attended the Let's Move event this past Sunday at Parkway North High School. Mr. Rathid and Mr. Jacob were there as well. So that was a lot of fun. We got a little muddy, but it was a lot of fun. And thank you to Ron Ramspot and his crew for putting that event on. The kids had, I think it was an extraordinarily well-attended event. It was far more than what they had anticipated. They ran out of some little panda bear headbands that the kids wanted. I think the first 200 people got one, and they had sold out within like the first hour that we were there. So it was very well attended, and everybody had fun regardless of all the mud that everybody got into. It was still a lot of fun. It was the American Ninja Warrior theme, so everybody came out for that. It was a lot of fun. And then,
We just got a note today from Mr. Ramspot, and there was 1,345 participants at the event. And it was a bit muddy. I think I ruined a pair of shoes, but nonetheless, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, but well attended. I think where's Ron? The most ever attended the event.
The other event that several of us were at was about heroin. That was presented on April the 27th. This was a community partnership with our Alliance for Community Health Partners. Just a phenomenal event. Again, very heartwarming, very touching, scary to think about that we're living amongst one of the highest incidences and rates of heroin that's occurring within the metro region. So to hear the stories and to know the one thing that really compelled me was that no parent can ever say, not my kid. And so we all have to be very vigilant and think that nobody is immune to the problems that heroin is creeping in. So my family took it upon themselves to clear out our medicine cabinet of all expired drugs, took them to the Baldwin Police Department, and so I would encourage others to do the same. We also had our appreciation gala on April the 25th. I know a lot of other people attended that as well. If somebody else wants to talk about some of those other events too.
I'll talk about the gala. I just wanted to say that Bill and Barron did a fantastic job. My cheeks were hurting so bad from smiling and laughing all night. Kudos to you guys and everyone who was responsible for putting that on. It was fantastic.
Any others?
I wanted to say that it was a long-standing time for me and Kim, but we really enjoyed the appreciation event. It was great seeing a lot of teachers and the efforts you guys put in. I mean, it's amazing that, you know, so many teachers were appreciated. I just wish that the number keep growing and we can just have a one grand gala that we appreciate everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I just wanted to say I'm an honorary Parkway Ninja Warrior. And I got my picture taken between the two warriors there that are on the 8th season. Just wonderful. And I mean, it was really a great event. And we wanted to say thank you to Ron and all of the volunteers. That took a lot of volunteers to make that work as well as it did. I understand there's a video, there's one where you grab a tube there and hold on and they roll you, and I think there's a Twitter feed with Ron, and he screamed like a baby. I also attended just before the Heroin Town Hall. I went down to Barnes there to attend the Med Talks, which is our experiential learning there for students that are learning about medicine. And what a great event that was. These were 15 wonderful kids that, my goodness, one of the things I had to do was present a talk on some subject with medicine, and it was detailed and good, and I mean, they were wonderful and very excited about what they were doing, so that was a lot of fun. And then some of you may have seen the video introduction that Dr. Marty and I did for Teacher Appreciation Week. The feedback was, you're no Bill, no Barron.
Yeah, exactly.
We do appreciate our teachers this week.
Mr. Jacob, I just also want to mention that our administrative team, our superintendent's action team, had a chance to be part of the Monday morning welcoming of the Taiwanese group at Claymont. This is the second year that they've welcomed parents and educators and students, and they actually very proud. The Claymont community has really adopted this now the second year, and some families are hosting as many as 3 guests in their home for a week. This is part of a St. Louis storytelling event that's, I think it's at Amstel, and a lot of the people are coming to be part of that, but they're spending a lot of time at Claymont and around the St. Louis area. But it was a wonderful morning, and we heard some storytelling on both the American students from Claymont and the Taiwanese students, and it was just again, as Mr. Rutherford said, it's just wonderful to be able to have that international opportunity for our students.
Thank you very much. There are no subcommittee reports at this time. There is an upcoming subcommittee meeting, May 10th, 2016 at 3 p.m. HR Finance Subcommittee meeting. That'll be at the Administrative Center. And 11.0, action items consent. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented in the May 4th, 2016 board materials?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
I meant, is there a second? I'm sorry, I wasn't. Is there anything to be pulled to action or closed at this time? And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. The motion carries 6-0. 12.0 action items, there are none. 13.0 policy review. Policy DN.BP, disposal of surplus material. Are there any questions? I know Eric is ready and anxious to talk to us about surplus material, and if there are none, then that'll be on the consent item next time for approval. Thank you, Eric. Actually, if you looked at it, he simplified the policy some so that the guidelines will be the major part next time. And at this point, 14.0, we've been looking forward to the evaluation of the Fine Arts program. Jeff Lackey, our Fine Arts coordinator, will make that presentation to us.
Good evening, President Jacob, members of the board, Dr. Marthy, Ms. Piesold. It is my pleasure this evening to present to you the Fine Arts Program Evaluation. Fine Arts, as you know, is a very large program in Parkway. We consult of visual art, music, theater. My presentation tonight is without showmanship. It's a long presentation, so I'll speed up. So I don't have any of the thousands of music clips and the thousands of videos I could show you. As much as I would love to, we would be here all night. So reviewing the process a little bit, and it's not on. There we go. This process began back in August, where we had the teachers meet together on the first day of school, and we reviewed what questions we would like to ask in the program evaluation, and all fine arts staff actually were at that meeting, and were gathered together to present the topics that we wanted to and the guiding questions. In September, that was presented to Project Parkway, and then later in September, presented to the Board of Education by Nathan Tyson, and then surveys were distributed and taken between November and December. The topics and guiding questions, when we got together to actually start this process, we realized that we actually missed a topic, and that was mission and vision. So that was not originally presented to you, but we decided to ask a question on mission and vision, and does the Parkway Fine Arts curriculum contribute to Parkway's mission and vision? Topic 2 was curriculum. Is the curriculum vertically aligned? Is it aligned with national standards? Is it equitable, relevant? Does it foster creativity and curiosity? Does it prepare students for the future? Topic 3, assessments and achievements, products and performance. Does our assessments and achievements reflect student knowledge? Are they grade level appropriate? Do they meet the needs of all students? Do products and performances, are students able to express their content knowledge? Are they competitive and recognized? And how are the systems and structures in Parkway supportive of those? Topic 4 was resources. How are resources distributed across all levels, schools, and programs? Are they up to date on technology, and are teachers trained to use it? Do resources match the curricular needs? And is professional development relevant, accessible, and timely? Topic 5 was communication. We looked at, is communication effectively and timely? Is Parkway Fine Arts program connected to the community, and how much does the community actually know about Fine Arts program? Topic 6 was about facilities. We looked at 2 separate things. We looked at instructional space and performance space. And so that brings us to the big picture. In Parkway, we have over 15,000 students involved this year in a fine arts course of some sort, which is about 86% of our student population. In elementary, that is about 100%. In middle school, that breaks up to 82%. And in high school, that's about 69% of our students. Also, we sent surveys out to elementary students, to secondary students, to parents, to alumni, to teachers, to administrators, and we had over 8,000, nearly 9,000 returned responses. And it breaks up, as you can see there, where we had a significant amount of students take the survey during their classes, and quite a few alumni and parents. One of the surprising things that we came across in the surveys were there were a few times where the students or the participants were able to comment, take the time to give us their feedback, and we had nearly 19,000 times that someone took the time to comment, dominating much of the committee's time in work in January. So if we break this up, we'll look at each topic real quick. Mission and vision, topic 1, a majority of all students, majority of all groups agreed or strongly agreed that the students are capable, curious, and confident, and that Parkway Fine Arts helped to contribute that. Students and parents and alumni showed strongest agreement in the confident area. Moving on to topic 2, curriculum, which is a little longer. Teachers strongly agreed that the curriculum is vertically and horizontally aligned. Teachers and administrators agreed that it's accessible for all students. Interestingly enough, the administrator's confidence level dropped slightly when looking at, is it accessible based on all factors, meaning is it race, ethnicity, gender, socioeconomic status, et cetera. Is the curriculum relevant? There was strong agreement among teachers and administrators that both it was relevant to the ever-changing global community and it was relevant to students. Secondary students and alumni strongly agreed that our curriculum provides a variety of choices that may be hard to read at 74% and 86%, and that the curriculum fosters creativity. Teachers and administrators both had strong agreement in that area. When asked if they're prepared to move to the next level, meaning if you're an elementary student, are you ready to move to middle school? If you're in middle school, moving up, one of the challenges of this program evaluation is that we are a very large department. And so on that slide, which could be very difficult to read, you have band, choir, orchestra, general music, theater, and visual arts. And what you would actually notice, the trend tends to be, although all agreed that the majority do feel prepared, the agreement tends to increase the longer they're enrolled in that program. Was the cost to participate reasonable? In this chart, you'll see the same categories moving along. Again, it's a large program, so the chart may be difficult to read. The orange bars are starting to show disagreement. Where a majority of all groups agreed the cost was reasonable, there's a slight elevation in disagreement amongst high school band and high school choir, typically due to marching band fees, festivals, competitions, tours is the assumption that we made on that. We asked alumni, it was actually asked at the board when we presented this, what is the participation level of our alumni after high school? And so we asked our alumni, and we surveyed, just to clarify, the last 3 years of alumni. And this was a nice surprise that 22% of the alumni that took the survey are actually majoring, minoring, or pursuing a career in fine arts. So nearly a quarter. Half of them are still 48% are still participating in some form of fine art, whether that be in a school or in a community. And 75 or 74% of them said that the education they received in Parkway prepared them to continue participation in fine arts, something we were actually really proud of. Helped in other areas of our lives. We know that fine arts attributes to other areas beyond just the classroom, and when we asked the alumni how fine arts affected, there was a large agreement amongst all groups and alumni that said it was very helpful in other areas of their lives. In curriculum comments alone, we received over 13,000 comments. So this is the largest portion of the comment section, mostly from students. And so if you kind of look at the trends, 73% of the comments were positive, and as you can see up there, it's the quality of the curriculum, the variety of courses, engagement for all, freedom to express and be creative, collaboration with others, the hands-on experiences they get, and the community connections they're able to make. Looking at the negative comments, and I use negative maybe a little flexible here, maybe more suggestions, it's actually always more. They want more of. And so the 27% of comments that we saw on the negative trend were they wanted more fine arts courses. They wanted more fine arts time in class. They wanted more courses. They want more AP or honors options for high school. They want more fine arts during the school day. That was more elementary. And it was an interesting trend. They want more clay. Especially the elementary kids want more clay. And that was just a fun topic coming up. When we get to topic 3, assessments and achievement, product and performance, we asked if the students were able to produce, if they were able to show their content and knowledge through their product and performance. And 98% of teachers and 84% of administrators agreed that students were able to show their knowledge through their products or performances. And then when we asked how do those products and performances meet the community expectations, they felt that 90% of teachers and 84% of administrators felt positive that what they were doing was right. So we asked the parents the same thing, and our parents agreed. They strongly agreed that we do meet or exceed, and again, the longer they're in that program, the agreement tends to rise. Then we asked the question about our growth assessments, and that's where our number drops. And so this is one of the surprising figures, not so surprising, but something that was interesting and shows some work that we need to do, is that if you look at the first chart there, do our common district assessments, the assessments we give students at the beginning and end of their course, are they able to reflect their knowledge in that assessment? And that's where we see a large drop. So if we go back 2 slides before, 98% of teachers said that their product and performance was able to demonstrate their knowledge. And then we go to the assessment and we see a 53% of teachers agree they're able to produce, showing that we need to do some work around that area. The next chart over shows, is it grade level appropriate? And then the next 3 charts are really showing the adaptability to measure all students. And so this graph and this chart and the data we received in the program eval shows that we have some work to do around our common assessments that we do in fine arts. We also asked about student opportunities to participate in fine arts, and one of the topics that came up when we surveyed, or when we gathered together to create the questions, was elementary strings. As you know, in 3rd grade, we offer elementary strings to all, and so we asked, is this still a valid program? Is this something we should consider? And 80% of parents agreed that 3rd grade strings is something that is doing well and should continue. However, what about beyond 3rd grade? Sometimes students choose not to continue beyond 3rd grade, and sometimes, or often, we have students come into Parkway after 3rd grade, and what's their opportunity? And so we asked, should we be offering strings, an entry-level strings course beyond 3rd grade? And parents said 46% agreed. My clicker's not working. 51% of teachers agreed, and 63% of administrators agreed that this is something Parkway should consider doing. Looking at other departments, we looked at band. In 6th grade, the current structure in Parkway is that we offer beginning band in 6th grade. And so we asked, again, that's an isolated time that we offer instruction. Should we offer beyond 6th grade? And 64% of parents and 63% of administrators agreed that there should be other entry points beyond 6th grade. Visual arts. In visual art, you receive visual art education beginning at kindergarten in Parkway. It is an all-year process at least once a week. When you get to 6th grade, it's isolated down to a 6-week. Though it's every day, it's down to 6 weeks of instructions. And so the teachers, when we gathered around to come up with these questions, they really wanted to ask, is that something that, are we meeting the community expectations? Are we meeting what we should based on what they consider more of a bottleneck feel in 6th grade? And so when surveying that out, 74% of the parents and 72% of the teachers felt that we need to offer something more than a 6-week instruction in visual arts in 6th grade. Similar to theater, though theater and drama is a beginning section in 6th grade, that also came back with 71% of parents and 65% of teachers would like to see more instruction than 6 weeks of instruction in 6th grade. Over 50% of our Parkway students in high school would like to see some form of AP or honors course option offered in their particular content level. And then we had a few staff concerns that came up as we asked about systems and structures. Both the elementary and the middle school teachers said that plan time is a struggle, and that 32% of administrators said that they were unhappy with the way fine arts are scheduled during the day. When digging into that information a little bit more, we noticed that most of those comments come from elementary, and most revolved around how elementary strings are scheduled and staffed during the day. Other staff concerns were class sizes. We actually asked the question, is it too small, is it just right, or is it too big? Very Goldilocks. But most were very happy and no, I don't think anybody said they were too small. But we actually had all of the orchestra, and that chart is elementary orchestra, middle school orchestra, high school orchestra in that order. So 100% of our orchestra staff are saying at some point in time that their classes are a little too big. High school theater, we had 100% say that they're too large, and there was some concern in visual art as well. We received comments in this, of course, as well, and 73% positive comments included things like student success is important to the teachers, performances and competitions, high expectations, outside opportunities provided, able to achieve high levels, they feel successful, and they're able to create or be able to produce creative projects. The negative comments, again, typically revolved around wanting more for this category, and that was more student art displayed. That actually came from administrators and parents, more experiential learning, and more performance opportunities. Topic 4 was resources. Everyone's favorite topic, budget. This chart is a little confusing to read at first, but though a majority of teachers agree both at the building level and the district level they are being supported, 25% disagree to some level. And this chart shows, if you're taking time to look at it, you have teachers are in red and administrators are in orange here. That's not a disagree next to an agree chart, so that takes a minute to see. Findings in looking at budget resources, we did look at district-wide and building-wide. Other findings is that we found inconsistencies in the way we budget resources are distributed across grade levels, and we found that there were inconsistencies across the district by content. And so a student attending one elementary school versus another elementary school might see a significant difference in the funding provided for them in, for example, visual arts. That said, on a footnote, that data is only based on this year's budget only. That is not something that we looked at over a longer period of time. Other resources looking in fine arts with sheet music was actually received very well. Instrumentation did really well, except in band and middle school orchestra and elementary orchestra, mostly due to just the aging of the instruments, which is hard to keep up with at times. Visual art consumables and visual art equipment did very well. Textbooks and tech support, I want to focus on textbooks. The green bars they were satisfied, and the red bars are dissatisfied. And as you will notice, their instructional resources are getting outdated in some of our areas. Not all content areas in fine arts actually use a textbook, so this is a difficult question. But the ones that do have been purchased a long time ago, and it is time to look at an update in resources, and I don't know if I want to call them textbooks at this time, but in a review of our resources that we have for things like AP Art History and things like that. Resource comments, we had 53% positive comments. That resources the teachers, and I love how they talk about the teachers' content knowledge and skills, that the quality of fine arts teachers that we have in our school, and the access to instruments and other resources not available at home. The negative comments, and this time they do start showing they want more time. That keeps popping up consistently. The need for newer instruments, that came mostly from staff. More funding, performance spaces. Though we have a topic, we'll get to that later, this creeps up in everything we did. Mac and iPads and other Apple product support. Better partnerships, though we'll talk about that a little bit later. More technology in fine arts classrooms, smaller class sizes, and better classroom, and that's back to facilities. Better performance facilities is in there again. And parents would like to see more experiential learning and professional exposure if possible. Topic 5, communication or connection to the community. We asked how parents felt connected to the program, and both in choir and band, both middle school and high school did very well, while secondary orchestra, theater, and general music did well. Elementary was the area that, though they're doing well, we could make improvements, and visual arts was an area that showed that we could improve communication. We have many partners in Parkway, some specific to fine arts. We have partners such as Manchester Arts, Stages, Civic Orchestra, and Arts Unleashed, which have provided our students and our schools many, many options and many opportunities that we normally would not be able to offer. And so we asked how our partnerships were going, and they wanted to know, are they beneficial? And this was interesting data, and when you see this chart, it's deceiving. It's actually positive, though it may look negative. 38% of teachers agreed or strongly agreed that they see benefit in the partnerships, and 47% of administrators. The larger picture is we had many people mark the no opinion or I'm not sure category. In fact, teachers, 42% were neutral on this. Administrators, 31% were neutral. And we actually had comments on this that they don't know what they are. They would like to respond, but they just don't know what the partnership is. And then also when you pull the data on this, it's interesting because it depends on the region that the school is in. So Manchester Arts, for example, is in Manchester, and the schools in Manchester were much more receptive to the benefits that they've seen from Manchester Arts than maybe other areas and regions in our district. And so unfortunately that chart doesn't necessarily show the bigger picture. Parents know what students are learning. Again, that was strongly agreed by all parents. 10, once again, the trend tends to be to increase the longer they're in the program. Communication comments, we received over 1,000 comments in this. 53% were positive, that they felt a strong sense of community, that the positive community support. The negative comments, 47%. Parents, more communication needed from the fine arts staff. Parents want to know more about the programs. Parents would like to see more artwork come home. Communication needed from teacher prior to reporting periods if student is struggling. And parents want community events pushed out to them. Though we have a fine arts calendar that is available to them, they still want something a little bit more easy to be pushed out to them. Then we get to facilities. This is broken up into two areas. One was instructional and one was in performance spaces. In instructional space, and I gave you this chart and it's not easy to read, but I'll kind of highlight some of the things. It really varies based on the age of the building and the past improvements that have been done. And so it's hard to see a big picture on this. The thing to note, and you can't see very well, but the numbers in red are the unfavorable responses. And in this chart, we start seeing the numbers creep up a little bit in the instructional space. And when you dig in a little bit, we've done significant work at the high schools. It tends to be in the middle schools and the elementaries amongst the comments. And most of the concerns tend to be around class space, storage space, and how the room is equipped. For example, are there humidity controls for rooms that are hosting string instruments? Are there acoustical accommodations meant for rooms that might be holding music or need to be soundproofed? And then we get into the performance space categories. We asked, is the space large enough? And my clicker's not working. There we go. And the part to look here is really the reds are 50%-ish or lower, and the orange is the disagreement. At this point, we started seeing higher numbers in disapproval or unfavorable responses than any other spot in our surveys. Then we asked, is there enough seating? You'll see that the red goes down, orange starts going up. And then we asked, are they, let me say the question right, are they well suited for all performances? And that was the one that was the most evident. And nearly all groups at this point are less than 50% in agreement, and our disagreement numbers are higher. We received over 861 comments specifically referencing facilities or instructional spaces, and actually we received more than that. This is the time that they were supposed to comment on facilities and performance spaces. Again, they commented as the survey went on. It wasn't till the end that they had the opportunity to comment on this, and they still had a lot to say. This was the most passionate, the most concerning area, and if you can't read those numbers, we had 97% negative comments on facilities. It was hard to find positive things when it was time to talk about our facilities. We had 100% negative from administrators, 100% negative from secondary students, some slight positive comments here and there. Comments that were positive were, we were able to use Logan, we were able to use Two-Hill, we were able to use that, but when talking to something specific to Parkway, we had a difficult time. So I don't have trends for you in positive comments. The negative trends tended to be space is limited, a need for better or larger facilities, classrooms and performance spaces are too small for audiences. Audiences have a hard time seeing and hearing performances. Parking is difficult. Acoustics are poor. Audience seating is poor. The spaces are crowded. It's not equitable to other school districts around Parkway. And that came up, and to briefly say, if you go to other school districts that surround Parkway, at the high school level or district level, there's a performance facility that our students and parents and teachers see that they don't see in Parkway. And then the last one was classrooms are overcrowded in the elementary. On a good note, other findings that we found is that when asking our students, elementary and secondary students, the overall rating of their class, we're doing very, very, very well. Other high ratings that came from our alumni and our current students were teachers show high interest in their progress. Teachers expect high quality work. Classes are interesting. Class time is used well. And they would recommend one of the fine arts courses to their peers. which brings us to our recommendations. One, we need to update our curriculum to the national and state standards. Not pointed out in the survey, but it is in the report you saw. National standards came out about 1.5 years ago, and we have not had the opportunity to update. We're still living in the 1994 national standards. We are up to date in our state standards, but this is work that we need to do. So it's recommended that we align our curriculum to the new national standards and that we maintain alignment with the state as the state may change theirs, not that there is national standards update. 2, that we develop and improve our district common assessments. As pointed out, we have some varied opinions on what students can produce through their product and performance and demonstrate versus what they can do in an assessment. So we need to incorporate more performance-based measures in district common assessments. We need to develop assessments that can be adapted or modified for all students. And we need to develop assessments that emphasize skill. Still keeping content knowledge, but maybe more skill-based since that's what we tend to focus more on. 3, to study and develop class sizes and scheduling recommendations for fine arts, develop teacher-student ratio recommendations for fine arts courses, and update our elementary string staffing model. 4, develop and standardize fine arts instructional resources, jumping the gun. Develop replacement and refresh policies for instructional resources, that could be textbooks. Inventory fine arts assets, which we're currently in the process of doing. Study and standardize technology needs. Explore district-wide per pupil budget allocations. And adapt and standardize instructional resources such as technology, textbooks, subscriptions, equipment, instrumentation, etc. 5, provide additional opportunities for students to access the fine arts courses, provide multiple entry points for students to enroll in strings beyond 3rd grade, provide multiple entry points for students to enroll in band beyond 6th grade, provide high school with more advanced placement options if possible, explore opportunities to expand middle school art and theater, explore ways to provide more fine arts opportunities to elementary students. And I want to pause here for a minute, explore the reinstitution of the dance program. Going back to the 2008 program evaluation, which was the last time we did this, one of the recommendations to the Board of Education was that we expand the dance program. In 2009, the dance program was discontinued. And so since we're cycling this out, I'm going to pull back in. We're not expanding, but we need to reinvestigate what a dance program looks like. I believe the PE health evaluation said the same, and it could be an interdisciplinary course that we can look at reinstitution. Study and monitor retention rates among fine arts programs, of course. 6, improve fine arts instructional performance spaces. Develop recommendations for fine arts instructional spaces. Develop recommendations for building level and district level performance spaces. And then the last recommendation we had was continue to build our partnerships with the community, to expand partnerships to include regional partners and content-specific partners. Based on that survey data we got, there was a lot of unknown. So, and some want for some what they call better partners. I think that we just need to look for more specific needs in our department and to really improve the communication of our current partnerships to our staff and the benefits of to our students and community. And that brings us to questions.
Board members, do you have any questions for Jeff? Let's start with Beth.
You and I had this conversation how many years ago about the performance space? We were in this room, right? So is there a thought that a performance space could accommodate all the needs of our district, one space?
I think you would get varying opinions on that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's a larger conversation. However, I think it's something we should investigate.
Because I think you have to answer that question before you can make any progress. And
the goal is when we develop some recommendations that we will be looking at building recommendations and district level recommendations and having a list of pros and cons to going one way or the other to present that to you.
And are we fully utilizing the opportunity to partner with the religious institutions that surround our district? Because I know I've been to concerts in that church at Manchester 141 where the acoustics were fabulous.
Yes.
And I know there are other places in our district that have those kind of facilities, and could we do a better job of partnering with them so that we could use those facilities?
We do, they actually do we do pay for use of those facilities
Yeah.
typically.
Well, paying for those is cheaper than building our
Yes.
own. Yeah.
So we do pay for those. We do rent out many facilities, Logan, Two Hill, Queenie. We just had our art show at Queenie. Yes, Manchester United Methodist, I think is what you're referring to. We do rent out and utilize even Missouri Baptist at times. So we reach out to them. Yes.
I mean, I guess
But I don't have a-
if you added it all up financially to see if what we pay by renting out those spaces would come anywhere close to what it would cost us to build and maintain a space of our own.
No, I think you would find that renting is significantly less than actually building our own.
Right. Yeah. Okay. It's an ongoing question.
With what we did, Jeff, here at Parkway Central Middle School, when we had the addition put on here and we did the choir room, and so, was that the right, we did it right?
Yes, so it's taking things like that, so the work that we did here at Central Middle and looking at it, standardizing it and saying, so as we move in and so we work on a building or we renovate a building, I don't think we would be recommending we go through the Parkway and fix everything we see, but as we look at fixing up buildings or building buildings, if we have a standardized set, here's what the choir room should look like, here's what the band room should look, here's what a visual art room should look like.
And these national standards you're talking about, how do they differ from, just generally from what we have today?
Higher up, they're similar to when the core areas moved into their new standards. The National Fine Arts Standards is similar in the way they wrote them. They didn't call them core standards as much, but they are more about the long-term gain. So instead of worrying about the element and the principle of art, maybe the enduring understanding is a little higher, and what's the relevant for music, it might be focusing more on creating, producing and performing is still going to be there, but more emphasis on the creating aspect and connecting to the community, et cetera.
So, first of all, I know you must be tired and ready to be done with it, but thank you for this great information. So, a couple questions like Beth asked is, what are the, how are we partnering with our community? So that was one of them. I had the one specific is love what you do and do what you love, and it makes a big difference when you blend that in the kids that are studying and you give them something that they enjoy. How is the performance of the students impact from those who take the courses versus they don't take it or they drop? How is the performance?
Could you clarify what you mean?
So like, for example, 10 students in the class, 5 take the fine arts courses and 5 don't. Have you tried to compare the performance analytics and see how that impacts?
No, we've not done that yet. That
Just see, because it would be something interesting. Yes. You can find out that sometimes, you know, those take the things that they love can make a big difference in their performance.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it would be a great idea to look into that,
Yes.
right?
I agree.
Are we doing enough or less compared to other schools in terms of fine arts?
How are we doing?
Compared to the other school districts?
We did not look at other school districts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did not look at other school district budgets when we looked at this program. This was an internal look only.
Okay, and then also on the, because I have an analytics background and
Sure.
a Six Sigma, so I apologize for asking so many questions, but
It's okay.
timing of the classes. I heard some had concerns about the timing of the classes. Have you tried to look at the performance of having classes in the first half of the day versus the second half of the day, and how that impacts the performance of the students in terms of their academics?
Sure, it depends on the grade level. It depends on what they come, if they come into fine arts after PE versus before, or after lunch versus before. All those things are factors. The complaints that we receive primarily for the scheduling were in elementary, and it has to do with how we schedule our elementary string staff. We have 1 staff member per every 2 buildings, and that means they end up being a part-time person in that building, and that locks the schedule. And so our elementary principals, of course, that's harder to work with than a teacher that's assigned to a building all day long was the main concern. Also, that strings is not part of the normal elective or what we call specials at elementary wheel. And so in elementary, students go to an elective, the whole third grade team teachers may have common plan time as they will go into music or art or PE, but strings is separate. So strings, when they schedule a strings course, typically the way we do it in Parkway is that we pull one teacher, the other two teachers are teaching. And so it becomes just a scheduling, for lack of a better word, nightmare for an elementary principal at times. And they typically have to set the string schedule before they can move into other parts of the building. And so the feedback we received in the program evaluation was talking mostly about, no, we're not real happy with the way that works out.
And I promise you this will be the last one, is what are the top 5 fine arts courses and what are the bottom 5, just to see how, we are using
The
that.
top 5 and bottom 5, I wouldn't have that data. No.
But you can,
when you mean in terms of
the courses. And yeah, I mean, I don't understand how much and what we offer through the fine arts, what are the programs we offer, and what are the top 5 programs that, that are very popular, and we get more enrollments.
I was gonna say, I can get you enrollment figures, but I wouldn't have that available right now.
That's fine. Okay. Thank you.
What am I, so I just watched Mr. Holland's Opus the other night. Yeah. So I'm really happy to see that our program is so vibrant and being well supported, and that this district is wrapping its arms around fine arts. I have, my children are in fine arts. My son is in band in the middle school and all anxious to go to Branson. So we're just elated that this is going on and continuing to see this as strong as it is. As a former dancer, I'm so happy to hear that you want to bring dance back. Can you tell me what happened that it was discontinued? What was, so that we can understand prior and then what we're looking at now?
My knowledge is a little limited on this. We're researching and finding out, and we have reached out to look at many factors. But there were many factors, one being the interest of students, one being some retirement of staff members, one being budget. There were just many, many factors that accommodated for that, but I don't have a specific answer, and I would feel bad to tell you this is what I think it is without doing more investigation, so at this time I could get back with you, but I don't have an exact answer for that.
And I'm also wondering what type of dance are you considering? And as we talk about space and facilities and understanding what the requirements are for dance specific to, what you're
in the past,
thinking there.
it was a PE or fine arts credit, and so it was typically done in a PE classroom unless there was another classroom available. So students could choose which credit they were going to take at the high school level.
Okay. So if you're going to do ballet, for instance? Or what
It was
type
more
of-
modern dance at the time.
Modern
contemporary,
dance,
yes.
okay, so that's what I was wondering, what kind of dance are you trying to?
My memory's cloudy. What I remember is the enrollment had declined on that, and then we had a teacher that was retiring, and we were looking at our budget, and it just didn't make sense to continue at that time. But that's, I don't know. Don't quote me, but that's what I'm kind of.
I was just curious, because we don't end up
But we
into
had a
the
lot of
same-
passionate students who really loved it, but it wasn't a large number. I think it was like one section for high school or something.
Right. When we pulled the numbers, the last time it was offered was in
Yeah.
2008, 2009. Yeah.
What was is the term movement more than dance, or is it?
It was called dance.
A dance movement, or?
Performance dance.
Okay. Because movement has kind of become the new topic, hasn't it, Ron, or kind of a movement culture? Or? No, I act like I know something here, but I don't know.
And would that be for elementary, middle, and high, or what do you
The
think?
program was high school.
Just high
It was at all high schools offered, and one, actually Central Middle had it offered here as well.
Now, I believe, and correct me, Ron, but I believe there are PE units in elementary where they do dance, at least little small units, like line dancing and. Right.
And in fine arts in elementary, we have dance portions too, but not isolated.
I don't remember.
Okay, yeah.
Square dancing? Did we do that in middle school?
No, in
Elementary, right.
Oh, okay, okay.
You spoke a little bit about one of the problems that you found was inconsistent funding and inconsistent course content. Could you elaborate a little bit on that?
So funding, if you refer, if you have your report in front of you, it's on page 11. You'll see funding numbers for this year, and you'll see it by building. It's broken up to music budget, visual arts budget, the total amount spent, and then it divides it per student, and then down to the amount of enrolled in fine arts for that building. And so the ratios that you can see as you go down that far right-hand corner, at the elementary, it would be nice to have seen more consistent numbers. The thing is, we work in different budgeting systems, that we don't have a uniform. We do zero-based budgeting, we do all these other things, and buildings also have needs, and sometimes they have to change their numbers. So if we go back and look at last year's numbers, these might look significantly different. So this was a program, it was a capture of one moment in time of just this year's budget, but my recommendation is that it would be nice to have recommendations for what a visual art classroom should look like budget-wise. And so just jumping down, if you look at high school visual arts, you'll see a, fairly consistent, but one school might be funding significantly more than others. That could be due to enrollment, that could be due to what they provide for their building, et cetera. And so when you look over to how much that equals per student, it's more normal. So it depends on how you look at that. But that's the work that I would recommend to the Fine Arts Action Team that we would like to look at and maybe push out some recommendations.
And is content, I was just wondering if maybe that was driven a little bit by individual teachers.
Sure, so different teachers
I might
have
be
different
really good
needs.
at trumpet,
In the music budgets that you see there, those are going to be for music repair, those are going to be for supplies, and so budgets that are funded at a much lower rate are going to have a difficult time keeping up with repairs. Thus, in turn, we might see a chart with instruments are getting old and outdated and eventually asking for new instruments rather than repairing having a sufficient budget enough to keep up with their current instrument needs.
Very thorough report.
Thank you.
And, as Mrs. Hopper said, I'm also very passionate about this area. My kids this was their thing, music especially, but art and drama all through school. And they still participate in music. I have one who's a professional musician. So, I credit Parkway for that. It really sparked their interest and really developed them. So thanks to all of our fine arts teachers for what they do, and this was a great report. A lot of work put into it, we can tell, so thank you for that.
And we actually, if I can, just take a moment, we actually had some fine arts staff members here that took the time to be here tonight, and I want to thank them for being here tonight. Thank you, guys. Yes?
You mentioned about it, I didn't want to bring up, but
yeah.
I love music, and in a joke, I was just writing a song, and one of my friends composed it, and it ended up being recorded by Bollywood top singer. So you can never know what you can end up doing. So
that's great.
Keep up the good work. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes.
Jeff works really hard to foster partnerships. He talked a little bit about that, but we have a partnership with Stages. We have a lot of students that have opportunities at Stages, and Stages, of course, now has their practice facility over in Chesterfield Parkway. Manchester Arts has just taken off the last couple of years. Our partnership with them, the Chesterfield group is now called, what's it called?
Arts Unleashed.
Arts Unleashed. Yes. Yeah, it used to be Chesterfield Arts. So there's a lot of opportunities to work with groups, and I think that's, to take advantage of those community partnerships is wonderful. We have some of our folks like Chris Becker directs the Manchester Community Band in the summertime, and so there's a lot of good things happening. That's right, the Civic Orchestra, yes. Right. Thanks for mentioning that.
Orchestra does.
We have a partnership with the St. Louis Civic Orchestra here. So that's the whole new dimension, and Jeff has been working hard to continue developing those and foster those. Not that there's new facilities there, but I know we just had a photography contest at Manchester United that they sponsored. A lot of our students took part in that. So that interplay with the community is really neat to see. We're really excited about that potential. It kind of gives Jeff a whole new dimension of his job, because we have a lot of municipalities, a lot of groups that would like to partner.
All right.
support you, and it's impressive when you look at that and see that almost 70% of high school students are involved in some facet of fine arts, almost 100% in elementary. We know that has an impact on our kids, and we're just so grateful we can do that in Parkway. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question for Mrs. Hopper. Did you cry?
Yes, I did.
I-
Every time I
I've
watch
seen
the
that
movie, I
movie.
cry.
Every fine arts teacher, when they show a movie, my kids used to complain because that's the only movie that a fine art teacher would show, and I bet they've each seen it 25 times. So just a suggestion, there's got to be other movies to show.
I will challenge the idea of wanting to bring more artwork home. I mean, all the artwork I have, I mean, I don't want to throw it away. We take pictures of it. It's like, I put it in a big box. It's downstairs. You know, I mean, who wants more artwork brought home? I don't know, but
That's funny.
and we got clay. If anybody wants clay, we got clay.
I would make a point, and I really don't want to take up time, but you know, a lot of times music or all these activities play a bigger role in their development. And if you even want to go down further, think about what can we do for special needs kids, and how can we involve fine arts into their life, and that can probably change a whole lot. So, thank you.
You know, going back to Mr. Opus, that movie, by the way, is 20 years old now. That's how long it's been around.
She still cries every time she sees it.
Yeah, I do too. But that's a lesson about. I mean, the reason I cry at the end of that movie is what's happened. I saw that once with my children, and they didn't understand why I was crying. And I said, because, you know, just think what would happen in our society without music.
Right.
And that was, and we're seeing that around the country. I mean, if unfortunately, when districts have to make tough decisions, they drop things like orchestra programs or art programs. I sat with a woman one time coming back on a flight from a convention from out in Providence, Rhode Island, and she was taking her child out of a public school because they had dropped most of the art program, and her child, that was what was keeping her child in school. I mean, those stories are just sad to hear. So we could be proud of our support for the arts.
Yeah.
And I would recommend in the culinary arts, maybe the movie No Reservations. That's not because I like Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Uh-huh.
15.0 work session, there is none, and a call for a special meeting, there is none. The next scheduled anticipated closed session will be on Wednesday, June 8th at 2016 at 6 p.m. at Central Middle School. Details of the closed meeting will be posted within 24 hours of the anticipated meeting. And may I ask for a motion and a second to adjourn the regular meeting?
There's an addition to the.
Well, I just want to take a moment.
Sure.
This is Joyce's perhaps last meeting. We never know.
Absolutely.
Nikki will be back next week, and Joyce has done. I just want to say I think Joyce has done a wonderful job supporting the board and supporting us the last couple weeks. So I just think she deserves a round of applause for that.
I have to say, it's a tough job keeping all of us where we need to be and at what time, so you did a great job. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Was there something else you were going to say? Then?
Well, I guess we can call for a close at the retreat if we need it.
Yeah, we're not sure about the need
I
yet.
think we did earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
June 3rd or 4th, we may have a need to do a.
Okay, never mind.
With an anticipated closed session at, well, no, that's the June 8th. It just says there will be a board.
We'll do it then.
Okay.
Right?
And again, Joyce, thank you again. We've enjoyed very much your help while Nikki's been away. And I guess she's only coming back part-time, so we may still need you.
She's going to work her way back into it next week.
It's nice to have a strong bench like the Cardinals. May I have a motion and a second to adjourn the regular meeting?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries 6-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.